Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, Mr. Bani and all my friends. First of all, thank you very much for the time and opportunity given to me to present my thesis. Let me introduce myself. My name is Vera Efita Hudi Putri. You can call me Vera. Student ID 23417600047. The Information Technology and Sistem Informasi Bisnis Politeknik Negeri Malang. Third background, the background of the study comes from two main points. Okay, first, from the market side. E-commerce transactions in Indonesia have grown rapidly and now reach hundreds of trillions rupiah per year, with recent industry reports showing continuous year-on-year growth. Shopee consistently dominates in terms of traffic and user visit. Blibli occupies a lower challenger's position, even though both platforms offer relative similar core service. Second, from the user side, especially university students as digital native, students are very active in online shopping. They usually install more than one e-commerce apps, compare price, and usually switch from one platform to another. From this group, it's not only price and promotion that matter, but also the quality of the user interface and the user experience when using the application. This situation raises a key question: to what extent do UI and UX influence student intention to keep using a particular e-commerce apps, and more specifically, are there differences between Shopee and Blibli in this regard? This question from the basis of my research. Okay, next slide. Problem, scope, and objectives. Based on the background and the research gap that I explained earlier, my study is built around three main research questions. First, does the user interface or UI significantly influence student use attention when using Shopee and Blibli? In other words, does the way the apps looks and is structured, such as layout, consistency, and navigation, actually make students more willing to keep using it? Second, does user experience or UX significantly influence reuse attention? Here, I focus on the overall experience use, including ease of completing transaction, comfort, sense of security, and satisfaction. Third, if we look at UI and UX together in one model, do the simulation have a significant effect on raised attention? This helps use see whether both variable as a package really matters for student intention to continue using the apps. To keep the research focused and manageable, it's some scope limitation. One, the respondents are only active university students who have used both Shopee and Blibli for transaction as less 3 times in the 6 months. In the last 6 months, this criterion ensure that they have enough experience with both apps to give a meaning evaluation. 2. The model only includes 3 core variables: UI, that's X1, UX, that X2, and raise attention Y. Other factors as price, promotion, product quality, payment methods, or social influence are intentional excluded from the model. They are important in reality, but they are treated as outside the scope of this particular study so that I can focus specifically on design and experience. 3. The content is limited to mobile e-commerce application because most students interact with Shopee and Blibli via their smartphone. Based on this problem of the scope, the objective of study are 3 points: to analyze the effect of UI on raised attention for Shopee and Blibli among university students, 2. To analyze the effect of UX on raised attention in the same context, 3. And finally, to examine the simultaneous effect of UI and UX on raised attention, so we can see how strong their combined influence is on student attention to keep using this application in the future. Okay, next slide. Slide title: Theoretical Basis and Conceptual Framework. Yes, this study is based on technology accept model atau TEM and continuous attention concept. Tam says that people attention to us a system is mainly driven by how usefully and how easy to use they think is it, while continuous model focus on whether user are satisfied after using it, decided to keep using it. In mobile commerce, recent study show that apps quality, perception value, and user experience have a strong impact on whether a user want to continue or reuse an apps. And this research, user interface and user experience are treated as the main design factor that shape how student perception and use the Shopee and Blibli application. Conceptually, is used 3 months variable. Refers to student perception of the visual layout and navigation structure of the apps, how consistent the design is, how easy it is to move between menu, how readable the text and icon are, and whether the colors and layout feel appropriate or comfortable. The second is X2, the user experience, which captures student overall function and emotional experience when using the application. These include the ease and smoothness of the transaction process, their comfort and sense of security, their overall satisfaction, and how much they actually enjoy using the apps. The third variable, Y, raise attention, which is the intention to keep using the same apps in the future. To shop again using the apps. To choose is the first option when you want to buy something online. To keep it installed in the long term and to recommend in other people. The same model is applied to two objects, Shopee and Blibli. In practice, the main student will evaluate UI and UX and reuse attention for Shopee, and then for Blibli using the same set indicators. This allows me to compare how strongly UI and UX influences attention across the two platforms. Based on the framework of the study test, the better UI and better UX will lead to higher reuse attention, and then strength to these effects might differ between Shopee and Blibli. Okay, next slide. Research methodology. Methodology is research use and quantitative approach with as explanatory research type as recommended by Sugiono 2019 and Sekaran and Boyki 2060. When testing causal relationship between variables, the design is a cross-selection survey causal 2040 where data are collected from respondents who meet the criteria. There is not intervention. I only measure that perception user structure questionnaire. Number one, the population all active student at my university Polytechnic Negeri Malang was put Shopee and Blibli for online shopping. Sampling technique, no probability, pop-up sampling, and with criteria, active student has used Shopee and Blibli for transaction as late 3 times is in the last 6 months. She willing to complete the questionnaire. Sample size a minimum of 100 respondents following her in 2019 were recommended about 4 to 10 respondents per indicator for multivariate analysis. Okay, next in the last slide, conclusion. So the study concludes that both user interface and user experience play a significant positive role in shaping the reuse attention of Shopee and Blibli among university students. A clear, consistent, and easy to navigate interface with readable text and appropriate colors encourage students to continue using this application. At the same time, a smooth and conventionally transaction process, a strong sense of comfort and security, and our overall enjoy experience future strengthen their willingness to reuse the apps in the future. When considered together, UI and UX explain a sustainably part of student raised attention, indication the loyalty to a commerce application is not driven only by the price and promotion, but also by the quality of design and interaction that user experience in daily use. The comparative results say that Shopee generally receives higher evaluation on UI, UX, and reuse attention than Blibli, which explains Shopee's strong reputation among student users. Overall, the core conclusion of the research is that improving interface design and user experience strategy care to increase and raise attention and retaining university students as loyal users of a commerce application. That is the end of my presentation on the influence of user interface and user experience on the use intention of Shopee and Blibli among university students. I realize that this research still has several limitations, so I keenly welcome any comments, questions, and suggestions from the examiner to improve this study further. Thank you very much for your attention and for the opportunity to present my work today. I'm Vera Efita Hudi Putri. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.